We've pointed our car north to see what we can see. Our next stop is York and the shire that surrounds it. Yorkshire holds a special place in my heart. My mum's from around these parts, and I've never been here before in my 52 years of walking this planet. So I'm determined to do a bit of poking around. But before I get into that, I thought I'd check out the city of York, because it's a very old and famous place. The Romans came here almost 2,000 years ago and built a settlement here, and it's never looked back. In the Middle Ages, the locals built a whopping great big cathedral, and the pilgrims and tourists have been coming here ever since to take photos. Another cool thing to do, other than wander the streets of York with 100,000 other tourists, is to walk across the city walls. You do get some good views of the Minster from up there. Oh, and if you're wondering why the cathedral is called a Minster, it is attributed to churches established in the Anglo-Saxon period as missionary teaching churches. Thanks Wikipedia, that clarifies that. Think Westminster Abbey, that's another example. Some fun facts for you. Constantine the Great, who was the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity, was actually in York fighting those unruly Scots to the north when his father died. So he was actually made Roman emperor while he was in York. Very interesting. Also, Guy Fawkes was born and raised in York. I noted a sandwich shop that was selling sandwiches with a sparkler, presumably in his honour. And that famous highwayman in the 1700s, Dick Turpin, is buried in York. That's the coat of arms of Charles I. He stayed here in the King's Manor from time to time. The lion represents England and the unicorn represents Scotland. When you order a Yorkshire pudding in York. Yorkshire pudding in Yorkshire. I love England. You're driving down the road and all of a sudden you see like some kind of stunning ruins of something or other. Nice. And the sun's out. The ruins of Byland Abbey were a completely unexpected surprise on our way to see something completely different. It would have been enormous before it fell into ruins shortly after Henry VIII made it unfashionable to be a member of a Catholic order around the 1500s. At its height, there would have been about 80 monks living here and 160 brothers. This place is huge. It would have been its own little village, but now, not so much. James Herriot was a very famous author from these parts, and he declared the view from Sutton Bank to be the finest in all of England. Anticipation, it's rising. Not biased at all there, James, I'm sure. But the label's stuck, and now there are signposts that proclaim it loudly, so it must be true. Bradford won't be on many tourists' path, but I have a reason for coming here. And that's a nice segue to the next section of this vlog. This is Yorkshire, and these could be my relatives. These could be my relatives, yeah. I mentioned at the start that I have family connections to this area, in particular Bradford, and a small village called Baildon. Pretty sure my mum used to live in that house about 85 years ago. And apparently my granddad had a butcher shop somewhere around here. Now, whether this is original buildings from 85 years ago or not, I don't know, but could have been the magic wok, who knows? Horton Moravian Church. My grandparents got married in that very church, I don't know, probably, gosh, 100 years ago? I don't know, actually. So this is Baildon Hall. Now my grandma's maiden name was Baildon, and this is the town of Baildon. I think she came from quite a flash family. I think they were lords of the manor, so to speak. So I was just kind of wondering if I'm a direct descendant of, you know, lineage and all that, whether there's a manor or something that I'm entitled to claim. Not sure. Might go bang on some doors. Hey, thanks for joining us on this mini adventure. There are a few more coming, so please like and subscribe.